Yo, what's up, world? This Owl Fafore, and today we have a special guest host, Owl Adeleke.
What's happening with you, brother? What's happening with you?
Man, nothing
Peace
much
and
was going
blessings.
on.
World traveler, peace and blessings to you.
Peace and blessings to you. Now I know what y'all thinking. First the Fat Boys break up, now this. But nah, our Oshayun is in the middle of moving. So his place is looking crazy. And I had some information that I just wanted to share, some things I wanted to talk about. And I was like, man, this can't wait in another, what, 10 days or whatever the case may be, before he gets moved and unpacked and things of that nature. So we figured, hey, look, we got a friend to the show. Those who have been watching the show for a while, remember our Adeleke. He was on the season when we talked about healing. He came through and blessed us with the
Yes, sir.
healing about plant medicine. Man, that was one of my favorite episodes. I'm not just saying that because you here. I've actually said it on the podcast on another time when you wasn't here. Just uh, because of how open you were. I remember telling you, paying you a huge compliment that I only know that only somebody like you would get and will understand and will be able to receive it. Where I said you are the most feminine, masculine man that I know, because unlike a lot of men, you really tapped into the emotions. You know what I'm saying? You tapped into the feminine and you balanced that out really well. So,
I sure appreciate you, man.
man,
It's
I
an ongoing
appreciate you.
battle, though. It's an ongoing battle, but we most definitely gonna win. You know what I mean?
Ashe,
Yes,
Ashe.
sir. True indeed. So, man, I know you want to tell me some things about the trip, the reflections on Benin, your initiation, and your inner transformation that went on while you was there. And so I want to go ahead and start asking questions now, man. Dive deep in because we all want to know because we seen the videos. We all seen the videos, and I was amazed. I was like, my man is, man, it looked like what's the name of that channel? The Discovery Channel, man. You was like
Hmm.
doing it big. You know what I'm saying? Really proud of you, and can't wait to hear on this podcast all the wonderful things that you were able to pretty much see and feel and learn from. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Man, the trip was a dope trip.
hmm
And, going to, because I practice Ifa, because I practice Haitian voodoo,
hmm
Benin was a place that I had read about. Obviously, the Dahomey Kingdom. Then Woman King came on the scene and kind of made it popular for those who didn't know about it. So it was on my radar,
hmm
but it wasn't on my radar just now. I remember looking at it a couple of years ago, and I thought it was like three layovers, the flight that I was on take, or the flights that were open at that time. And I was like,
hmm
there's no way. Three layovers, 33 hours. No, I'm not doing
yeah, man, that was a
it.
crazy flight, man. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
that's a lot of
yeah.
traveling, bro. I've traveled to overseas as well several times, but man, that's when you said 24 hours, I was like, that's a lot of
Yeah,
airtime. Yeah,
yeah. It's a
so
lot of airtime. It's not wasn't my longest trip, but
hmm
the way I ended up going this year is god sister of ours, more like a god cousin, I should say,
hmm
who is a friend of the podcast. From like season one, we would always, stay in contact. We would always talk. And then we ended up exchanging information and having more in-depth talks. And she's the one that actually introduced me to my mambo. And so she hits me up one day and said, "Hey, I had a
hmm
dream about you." And she breaks down the dream and she says, "Man, I think your ancestors want you to go to," no, she's like, "Your ancestors want you to go to Africa." And as soon as she said it,
hmm
I knew exactly where. but I don't say anything. I'm just listening to her lay out this dream. Basically, in the
Mhm.
dream, I was Eshu.
Oh wow.
Looked like me, but it was like I was Eshu, but I was kind of me at the same time. It was a crazy dream. And so
Mhm.
I didn't say anything. I heard her say that, and in my mind, I'm like, they want me to go to Benin. And then the next sentence, she said, I think they want you to go to Benin. And I said, yeah, that sounds about right. And so, uh, not too long after that, my niece, my grown niece, about 35 years old, who also practices E5, hits me up and says, "Hey, Uncle Jimmy, we gotta go uh, to Voodoo Fest." She said, "Man, the ancestors want us to go," and so
Right.
I'm like, "Bet, like, let's do it." And so I divined on it, and Spirit was like, "Yeah, ancestors want you to go, and they
Mhm.
want you to go, this year." So I said, "All right, bet." So we booked the flights and go. Now, there's a lot of leadway or a lot of lag time between the decision and actually going.
Right.
And so my niece would hit me up all the time and she'd be talking to me about the trip. And then she kept making comments about, yeah, we're gonna experience, what the ancestors experience when we go over there. And I
Mhm.
said, no, we ain't.
You say no, we
You
ain't
know what I'm
right.
saying? I said, I know what the ancestors endured. Like
Right.
we not doing all that. No, I'm telling you, we gonna experience that. I said, nah. Now remember that part, because that's
Mhm.
key. And I'm gonna talk more about that at another part of the story. But remember that she
Mhm.
kept on saying we were going to experience what the ancestors experienced. And I kept saying, no, not me. Don't put that on me. I don't want no part of that, right?
Yeah, that's like one of my first questions too. I want to ask you too.
Okay.
Before arriving to Benin, uh, what did Benin represent to you symbolically, and how did that meaning shift once you were physically on the land?
Symbolically, it was a place where my two traditions met,
Hmm.
right? If you know the history of, you know, what is now Benin and Togo, back then it was, kingdoms, right? You will
Two different.
understand that, yeah, it's the point where Ifa and voodoo, West African voodoo met because you had people who practice voodoo. But then you had Yoruba people right there, and the
Hmm.
Yoruba people who practice Ifa. And you had this thing where when the Dahomey kingdom became a thing, when they would conquer neighboring tribes, unlike the Europeans that, would go and conquer different places,
Right.
they didn't force their tradition onto you. But what they did do is they saw things that you were doing in your tradition. If they liked it, they would kind of incorporate
Incorporate.
that
Yeah,
into their own practice, right?
that's deep.
And so one of the big things is that the Odu Ifa comes into Haitian voodoo through the Yoruba. The
Hmm.
use of the Opwele for divination
Hmm.
comes through to voodoo through the Yoruba. Now, me studying this, I realized that the Homey Kingdom had a huge role in the slave trade. I know we like to push slavery all on Europeans, the French, the Brits, all that. Man, Africans were making a lot of money in the slave trade.
Mm.
They were making so much money that at one point you had kingdoms who were like, you know what, we're not going to do this slavery thing no more. We're going to do something else. But they came back to slavery because slavery was so lucrative,
Right.
right?
I saw it. I was watching. I can't remember the movie, but I saw where they was actually trading slaves for guns.
Oh yeah, for
So
guns,
yeah,
for liquor, all kind of
yeah,
different
yeah,
things.
yeah. So
Like
it's
it
amazing.
was big business.
It was big
So
business. Yeah.
through conquering neighboring tribes
Mm-hmm.
for people to put into slavery, is how West African voodoo became what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Haitian voodoo is the way it is because of, at different points, different people were being captured and sent over to slavery based upon what the French in Haiti wanted to highlight from a crop standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they were in their phase, oh, we want a lot of coffee, they would get certain type of people. Oh, when we want to do sugar, they would get people from a different area, right?
Mm-hmm. Sugar
Um,
cane, et cetera. Yeah.
exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
that is why you don't see the Odu Ifa in Haitian voodoo. Because I always wondered there, like, what happened to the Odu Ifa? Well, what happened is Yoruba people came early, and then later they would do people from what we call Benin and Togo now,
Mm-hmm.
who didn't specialize in using the Odu Ifa and the Opwele. That is
Yeah.
why
So
you
they
don't
pretty
have
much lost
Opwele in
their.
Haitian voodoo.
Sound like they lost their babalaos, or you want to call it their spiritual leaders.
They did lose their Babalaos
Mm-hmm.
because in West African voodoo, you have two types of priests. You have the diviners, and then you have those who don't divine. So you have Babalawos, and then you have the other ones. They call them Bokor,
Mm-hmm.
right there. And so my ancestors wanted me to go because I got to be in the point where these two traditions collided,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I go with the idea that, well, let me back up. I had an idea of, or a thought, um, or a hypothesis, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And my hypothesis was spirituality is dying around the world, including the continent.
Right.
And so part of my trip, ancestors wanted me to see what was.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got there, what I saw is that the culture of voodoo is very, very strong. The
So would
spirit,
you consider this like a uh that you felt some type of profound spiritual recognition or confirmation at this time when you first stepped on the scene?
yeah, I felt a strong confirmation that spirituality is dying,
Mm-hmm.
but the culture is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that first on the flight because I went from Houston to Paris, from Paris to Cotonou, Benin.
Mm-hmm.
On the flight from Paris to Cotonou, there was a lot of Africans on that flight, a lot of Africans, and they were going for Vodun Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy sitting across from me who had a statue of the twins, and they call them Marasa in Haitian voodoo.
So we call it with a veggie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he had the twins. And so um, I was like, oh man, I want to talk to that guy. Cause I mean, he had the full outfit. He had all the bracelets,
Right.
all the beads, the whole nine. And then there was a guy in front of me
Mm-hmm.
who and I asked him, like, are you from Benin? And he was like, yeah, I'm from Benin. And so I asked him, about Voodoo Fest. Oh yeah, it's the culture. Yeah, I'm going, for the culture. He's like, I said, oh, you practice voodoo? He said, no, I'm a Christian.
Mm.
You know, um, so I go for the culture, not the
Mm-hmm.
religion.
Right.
His words. So that was my first indication, like, hey, you might be onto something with this hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got there and I got on in the streets and got to talking with the people, really most of the people that I came across, like in the city, were Christian. A lot of them,
Mm-hmm. You know what it
and
sounds like though?
mhm,
It really sounds like they took on that that phrase when in Rome do it Do what Romans do, or something like that. When in
Yeah,
Rome,
yeah,
do what
that's exactly how it
Rome
is.
do. You know what
When
I'm
in
saying?
Rome, do as
Yeah,
the
because
Romans do.
yeah, it seems like they. I don't want to say. I don't want to use the terminology abandoned, but cloaked in a sense, covered it. You know what I'm saying? In order for them to be able to fit in the current society that they're structured in. You know what I mean? Um, say in Paris, so you can. I know you're not walking around saying you do voodoo in Paris. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
come on, you know what I'm saying? So it's easier
right,
to say that you're a Christian than it is to say that you practice voodoo. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
But this is
Yeah.
even in the streets. But I'm talking about walking around the streets of Benin.
Mm-hmm.
There's,
They was like saying I was
oh
Christian
yeah,
too.
there's
Yeah.
nobody that but other than people who look like you.
So it was so what you're saying is it was a big, you could tell where they were actually colonized. You know what I'm saying, by
Oh,
Christianity.
absolutely.
Okay.
And colonized the power and influence of the West
Hmm.
has a stronghold everywhere. They're included. So I saw that right away.
Hmm.
That okay, this might be like Nigeria, where everywhere I turn, there are non-practitioners. The difference though between Benin and Nigeria is they really embrace the culture.
Hmm.
Like they really embrace the culture. They embrace the ritual. They embrace the dance. All of those they view. It's like this. Pretty much everybody I know, majority of the people I know, the third Thursday in November are getting together with family and friends. They having turkey, they having dressing, they having candy yams, all those types of things, right?
Yeah.
But if you ask those people if they celebrate Thanksgiving, they'll say, no, 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 I don't celebrate the holiday. I just get together with family and friends and
Yeah.
we eat all the traditional foods
Yeah.
and
That was
so
the
forth and
vibe.
so
You know
on.
what I'm saying? Yeah, it was the vibe.
That is Benin.
That's Benin.
Um, at least in the city. Now, when you get outside the city, right? So the first 3 days we stayed in the Sofitel in Benin, or excuse me, in Cotonou, Benin. And Sierra was there for to perform at Vodun Days. So
Hmm.
she stayed at our hotel. That's what I was told. Because I mean, it is a really nice hotel. Right.
Gotcha.
And so we stayed there, but then we would take the drive about 30 minutes to go to Ouida, right? And
Hmm.
so the first day we go there, we go to Ouida, which is where Vodun Days is. This the village. Now these people in Ouida are practicing Vodou.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Hmm.
How did that spiritual energy of Benin, that particular area you was in, differ from practicing or studying Ifa and African spirituality outside of West Africa?
It felt normal.
Hmm.
Because see, when we practice here, we practice in our own, little corner with the handful of people in our Elay who get down like we get down. That's
Right.
about it. But there, everybody was with it. Like I said, the village of Ouida. I mean, that's where we went, and you go see. You have all these voodoo temples everywhere. That's
Hmm.
where I had the picture of going where you got the snakes outside. There's this tree, and what's interesting is that right after I gained back, that's when I Show Speed actually went. And so there's a tree with a white, it looks like an apron tied around it. He has his
Hmm.
hand on the tree praying. A week before that, I went to the same place and took the exact same picture.
You talking about Speed, the young man that just
Y-
traveled 20
Yes,
countries.
yes,
Yeah, I
he
saw
was
that
in
man.
Ouida.
He has some very extraordinary pictures too, man.
Yes, yes, he was at the
I,
same place. My
I
niece and
saw him
I.
doing a flip over a lion's head, over a real lion.
Oh, that's probably I forget where the place is where they actually walk. They have the trail where they walk
That
with the
trail where the
lions.
lions are and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't do that. But yeah,
Were
at
there
that
any like
same tree, I was right there where he where he came to where I was at a week earlier.
Mm-hmm.
My niece and I, hand on the tree, praying, you know, just paying,
Um,
homage to this sacred place.
mm-hmm.
It was, I mean, it was a dope experience. We go to this place, we go to the market, which is where they would line the captured Africans up in the
Mm-hmm.
market, and they would basically sell them,
Okay, so I
right?
got a question for you on that one too. So, um, were there specific ritual sites, encounters? I know you talked about the tree. Were there any? Did any of this deepen your understanding of your lineage, your ancestral,
Oh, absolutely.
or your destiny?
So yeah, that place, I was just about to get into that. That place we go to, that's the market.
Mm-hmm.
After they take us the captured Africans there, and
Mm-hmm.
then people would, it's like an auction. They would buy the slaves, and then they would take you to this tree. They would do this ritual where they would have you go around this tree, the tree of forgetfulness, to forget where you came from, who you were, the whole nine.
So that was a ritual then within itself.
No, that was a real ritual. Now, my niece was like, that's messed up. Why would they show the enslavers how to do the ritual? And I told her, I said, they didn't. She was like, well, they had to if they did the ritual. I said, no, 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 no. Africans was doing that ritual with
Mm-hmm.
those other Africans. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
tell nobody how to do it. They did it themselves,
Right, right.
right? And so there's a video that I have with me and my niece
Mm-hmm.
where we are going the opposite direction, essentially undoing the ritual.
Wow.
And so that
Yeah, I was
was
going to
that
ask
was
you
a
that.
pretty powerful
So
moment.
y'all were going clockwise, or y'all going counterclockwise?
So the way they do it is, so the woman, so she was standing on the right side of the tree to start off. I was on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
I went around clockwise. She went around counterclockwise,
Mm.
and to undo the ritual. Because when we're talking to the guy, he's explaining what's going on. And my niece is also, I mean, she's initiated. She's a priest of Oya. She's initiated to Shango, Eshu, Babaluaye, all kind of different things. So we looked at each other. I said, "Hey, we can undo this ritual."
I mean, true indeed. You can
And
always
so
break.
that's what
You
we
can always
did.
break a spell.
And that's exactly what we did. Is that we went around the tree. We broke the spell. We broke the curse, so to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
so we did that. There's also in that same area, because they're all kind of connected. That tree, the market, and then they have this outdoor monument where they have these poles in the ground that represent
Mm-hmm.
the Africans that were sold in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have names, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she smacks, well, not smacks me, but she hits me like, look. And I turn around and I look, and she's pointing, and I see her name, her Ifa name, Adenike, on the wall.
Oh wow.
I said, oh, that's crazy.
She see her name on the
She
wall.
see her name from her Ishefa on the wall.
So one of my questions to you is like, as you move through the process, right? What emotions surface most strongly, and what did they teach you about yourself?
Man, it was the emotions was a daily thing. It
Mm-hmm.
was because I read this book about the West African voodoo, Haitian voodoo. I read
Mm-hmm.
this book leading up to going, right? And plus I've studied slavery, I've watched documentary, I've done all that. So I was pretty well versed in that whole thing. Um what it really was about, it was solidifying why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
It was really like, hey, I really have to teach my children who they are.
Hmm.
I really have to be a proponent, if nothing else, but for my ancestral lineage for this practice, because if we don't start doing it, it's going to be dead. Because they talk about how fast spirituality is growing,
Hmm.
especially in the West. What's growing is people knowing what Ifa is. What's growing is people knowing what Lukumi is, or what Palo Mayombe is, or Haitian voodoo is.
Hmm.
Um, what's growing is this kind of a religion, but not a spiritual tradition,
Gotcha.
you know. And so it really brought me back to the essence. It's something about being barefoot. Like I stayed barefoot.
Oh, you stayed when you was on the land.
Oh, I stayed barefoot.
Hmm.
Whenever I seen a patch of dirt, man, taking them shoes off, I stayed barefoot. And it's something about being in those spaces. I got dirt from like several different places while I was there. I got
Hmm.
dirt from the point of no return. That's another thing too, right? After that, you go around that tree of forgetfulness, then
Hmm.
you go through the point of no return. Um, and then to never see, your homeland again. Um, then I was able to come back, and my niece was able to come back, right? And so we went through the opposite way of the point of no return, you know.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
like it's really your lineage, your ancestors returning back
yeah,
through you.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it becomes more of an inner journey. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's heavy, man. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it was amazing. So we were in Weta.
Hmm.
Like I said, we went to Weta, the first 2 days. And
Hmm.
then day three, after we checked out, we actually stayed in Weta for 2 nights.
Did the
Um,
journey require you to confront any personal fears, limitations, any long
Personal
held
fears?
beliefs?
Um,
How you navigate that?
no, no. Like I don't have any issues with you know, water because we stayed on a boat.
Hmm.
Um, Nothing like that. Uh, I understand about the snake situation, so I don't really mess with snakes, but I knew I was safe with the snake, so I really wasn't tripping. I got a picture or a video with the snake around my neck.
Hmm.
Um,
So you
so
had a chance to confront that personal fear
I wouldn't say
in
so. It
in a
wasn't a
sense.
fear because I knew in that situation I was gonna be good.
Yeah, I got you.
It might have been different if I was somewhere else. If I'm at the zoo and they like, hey, put this snake around your neck. No, I'm okay. You know
Gotcha.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But in that scenario, I was good. You know. So yeah, no fears in regards to that. Um, I'm telling you, so we go to a village
Hmm.
and we had to take a boat. So or we drive there, we get in the boat, and it's the boat where the guy has the long stick, so it's
Yeah.
not motorized, right? And it's beautiful. I'm gonna tell you, Benin and Togo are both beautiful,
Hmm.
very, very beautiful, right? And so we take the boat, and so we go. There's a tour guide that takes you that works there, and they
Hmm.
take you over. You go to the village, and so we're walking around the village. And so at one point, like we're heading back to the boat because we've been over there. We watched them, make uh pottery and things of that nature.
Hmm.
Um And they take us through beautiful. We make the baskets, do all that type of stuff. And then we're on our way back. And then I stopped and I was like, hey, is this a voodoo temple? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like this big, big red wall with paintings on it. And so I'm taking a video, I'm taking a picture and a video of that. And then there's an opening, and I said, hey, I'm gonna go in there because I want to take pictures. Because this is just a wall, outer
Mm-hmm.
wall. I want to take a picture of the actual temple. They said, yeah, go ahead. So one of the tour guys come back with me while I'm taking the pictures and the videos and stuff. And then the other double back, my niece doubles back. And then I see like this is like a compound. So I'm like, hey, yo, like, can we walk through? And they
Mm-hmm.
like, well, yeah, yeah, come on, let's go. So we walk through.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk through as two ladies sitting out front, and we're looking at, and I'm taking pictures and stuff and looking at the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, this man comes out, and he doesn't speak any English. Um, so the tour guide was speaking him in Fon, and he was like, "Hey, he is the prince of the village."
Mm.
Well, I asked like, "Oh, okay, so where's the king?" He was like, "Well, so there is no king, so the prince is the
The
man.
highest of the
He's the
highest,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he's the highest, right?" And so he was telling me, showing me how you greet him, right? And so he sees what's going on and he sees him talking to me and whatever. And he basically like waves him off and talks to him in Fawn. And he was like, oh, he said that don't worry about it, you don't have to greet him. And I said, nah, like I'm in his
No,
land. I'm on
we're
his
gonna show
space. I'm gonna
respect,
show
yeah.
respect. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
show respect. So I like show me again what you do. And he showed me. I said, all right. I said, oh, just the ballet to me.
Yeah, the
I said,
ballet.
oh, yeah, I
Okay.
got that. So I go and I debale to him, and at the video, you probably seen it. I posted where he comes over and prays over me,
Mm-hmm.
lifts me up. Now I didn't ask him. I didn't ask the other guy, but I know for a fact that well, after I did it, then my niece greeted him. I know for a fact because we were so respectful. He invites us into his space.
Yeah, to his home, to his
Yeah,
palace.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we go into one of the buildings. You could tell that's where he does work. You know what I'm saying? Because they got
Mhm.
all kind of stuff, all kind of juju in there.
Yeah, could you feel it?
Oh man, yeah. I said, oh, this is dope. So
Mm-hmm.
he was a voodoo priest as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he do a little reading for my niece. She asked him some questions. He ain't pull out no chain. He didn't pull out no tool. Just straight medium. Like, oh yeah, this, that, other, boom, boom, boom. Tell her. The translator, tells
Yeah.
him like this is what he
Did
said.
any of it resonate with her as well?
Oh yeah,
Okay, that's good.
absolutely. To the point, I
Mhm.
mean, she got his she got his WhatsApp and the whole nine.
Oh
So
yeah, she
yeah.
went in.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
what way did the experience reshape your understanding about of initiation, not just as a ritual, but as a lived process?
Well, first of all, the one thing that I loved about it, if you're not initiated, you're not doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't going in a temples, you ain't doing nothing if you're not initiated.
Because they asked you if you was initiated into
No, no,
voodoo.
no. They didn't ask me, but I'm gonna tell you where I got a lot of respect.
Mm-hmm.
I would show them pictures of me, divining and whatnot, and they was like, oh, like I could tell that, you know what I'm saying. And then the translator would tell me because I had one guy who kept wanting to see more and more pictures of me, right, divining and doing different stuff. And I
Mm-hmm.
had like several short videos that when I was doing the Ibori in December, my sister was here and she was recording videos, right? So she
Mm-hmm.
recorded maybe 10 videos, 45 seconds, 2 minutes here, whatever it may be. One
Mm-hmm.
guy took my phone the whole time. He just was just flipping through the videos, watching, tapping the other guy, look, and I think what it was an appreciation, um, the fact that me being born and raised in America having such an appreciation for the tradition. I think that was probably one of the things that blew their mind.
Yeah,
Because
I can see that happening. Them seeing a connection, you know what I'm saying, between two different people from two different continents, and we actually doing some of the similar things that they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Yeah. So
And the appreciation of being a diviner, because like I said, it comes in two different variations. You have one that's a diviner and a priest that's not a diviner.
yeah,
So
I would
when
consider that like a true spiritual continuity. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
In a
yeah,
sense, because it's like, okay, I don't know you, you don't know me, but yet we still doing this. We doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Even though it might look different in variations, but it's still getting to the main point. You know what I'm saying? If you want to
yeah,
say it
yeah,
that way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
one of the
that's
things
fly.
that it reinforced to me that there was a level of secrecy,
Hmm.
um, and not secrecy from a standpoint of I'm hiding something,
Hmm.
but secrecy from the standpoint that, hey, this is on a need to know basis, and there's some requirements for the information.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that I really, really appreciated in that aspect. Because I feel like with spirituality here, or the tradition, I should say, here, we give away too much, you know.
Yeah, I always felt that way too. I always felt like a lot of I always tell a lot of people that I come into contact with that a lot of things I consider sacred. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like for instance, even my shrine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one for just letting you see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to say I'm trying to keep a secret. It's just that I don't want you to place any negative energy on it in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
sometimes you when you got the alpha shade tell you not to let people look at the alpha shade. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. So it's the same way with with your shrine. You know what I'm saying? Like you just let everybody put their eyes on your shrine like that. You
Right,
know what I'm saying?
right,
Because you
right.
never know their thoughts and intentions. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like one of the things about Vodun Fest that um I'm not gonna say rub me the wrong way because I had an expectation that that was gonna be that
Hmm.
is it was a little bit of this it's for sale. And the reason why I say that is that one night at Voodoo Fest we do a fire ceremony.
Hmm.
And my tour guide is was pretty good and connected. And so what he did was the priest who was conducting it, um, like he knows him. And so he has this restaurant, and when I call it a restaurant because they make food, but it's a very small thing. But they had this restaurant and we ate there and it was taking a long time to get the food. But he said, don't worry, I'm the one doing the ceremony. I'm not going to start without you.
Mm.
So I said, okay. And sure enough, like he hand walked us, to our seats for the ceremony. And so we go to the ceremony and my niece kind of scared. Her and I went to Cuba the first time as well. And she was like, man, you got me, walking through dark alleys with strangers. But I'm like, man, listen, I went to my ancestors, my spirit guides. I did,
Yeah, you said
rituals,
you
did that
felt
and the
safe. You
other.
felt safe. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
You didn't
was
feel
good.
yeah, yeah.
So here I'm like, we good. You know what I'm saying? And so he
Mm.
took us to our seats and he was like, come with me. And she was like, come with me. Like, mm-mm. So I like, all right, he like, take your shoes off. I took my shoes off. They take you into the woods, and there's some Omiero. I don't know what they call it, but basically, that's what it
Amiara,
was.
yeah.
And so, he had me. It was a thing. Now it's nighttime, so it's dark, but it looks like a yam,
Hmm.
and it was like touched the yam to my head, and then he told me to say something. He told me to say it. I don't know what language. It probably fine. And so I did that, said it, and then, cleansed off. And then he even took some and then put it on me, cleansed me. We go back to the ceremony. Now, so there's a ceremony, and when we get well, so when I get back, I should say, there's a bird on the ground. And I said, oh, they did elbow. And she was like, I I didn't see it, but yeah, they did elbow.
Hmm.
I said, okay. And so the priest came around, picked the bird up, and it started moving. I said, "Oh,
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
yeah, they just had the bird. The bird, whatever they did, the bird did not move. It laid on the ground still. Like I thought it was, they had sacrificed it.
Hmm.
So he picks it up. He does a ritual. I snap a couple pictures. Now I start recording um and taking pictures at the time in which he did the sacrifice.
Hmm.
I didn't really like the fact that, people were able to record the whole thing, including the sacrifice. I'm not a big fan of the record the sacrifices and putting it, on social media and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And my niece was hating it. Like she was sitting in her seat like this, like irritated, like I'm ready to go, right?
Right.
But it was a good ceremony. It was a nice ceremony. At
You
the
know what?
end,
I got a question for you though on that though.
mhm.
Do you feel like spirit or the Orisha or like they tired of hiding? Maybe they just tired of hiding. You know what I'm
Um,
saying? They had to hide from hundreds of years now. In a sense.
no,
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
uh,
saying? In a sense where, you know,
I
I'm
don't
being
think.
a devil's advocate in a sense. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
nah.
Trying to
I don't spirit. I don't look at I don't look at spirit having human characteristics.
okay.
I
I
know
can
we see that in the Bible.
yeah.
God in the Bible being a jealous
I mean
God,
we see
and
that almost in every
you
religion.
know, yeah, you see that
You know
in
what I'm saying?
religion and spirituality. Um, and that's where I always say spirituality, even over here, is becoming church because you hear people saying things like, "Oh, Oshun is mad at me," or Shango is mad at me, and I was
Hmm.
like, "A spirit is mad at you? Like, how
Right.
that work?"
You say how that work.
So that's where I say we have become Baptist EFI practitioners. And
You say
so,
Baptist Ephod
yeah,
practitioner.
Baptist EFI practitioners.
Church
Yeah,
of
but
God in Christ. Church of God in
yeah,
Christ.
exactly, exactly. I've been to Hindu temples. They do not allow pictures, cameras
That's true.
inside the temple. They
They
don't.
don't play that.
They
They
do
don't play
not
that.
play that.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's partly because spirituality for certain places have become part of their economy.
Yeah, I would
Nigeria,
say that almost
especially.
became commercial in a sense.
Oh yeah, it's a part of the economy. It brings in a lot of money, right?
Hmm.
Voodoo Fest was when I tell you packed, like back in the day, I went to uh Memorial Day weekend
Hmm.
in South Beach. Now, if anybody watching this then been to Memorial Day weekend in South Beach, I'm talking about early 2000s when it was cracking.
I
Like
mean, it's still cracking, but I get what you're saying. It's like,
that's how Voodoo Fest was.
oh yeah,
Like
that's.
it was a ton of people, right?
Hmm.
A ton of people. And so, and from what I understand, I met somebody actually from Houston
Hmm.
who is, I think the father is from Togo, but they're American,
Hmm.
and said like 6, 7 years ago, it was like dirt roads, getting going back there, the whole nine. And now paved, beautiful paved roads, like, and it's a huge ordeal, right?
Yeah, you talking
That
in Benin now, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about in Benin.
Yeah,
That happened because people were spending money.
money. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And so it's become a part of the economy. And as it's become part of the economy, then you have this thing where um you gotta put on a good show.
yeah, it makes sense.
And so while I saw it being an authentic ritual,
Hmm.
it still was a show. And yeah, I kind of, the cameras for the elbow, I wasn't a big fan of, and my niece absolutely hated it. She was not a fan of that whatsoever.
Gotcha.
It was one point she was just so still and just stand off her space. I thought she was asleep, but she was fuming. But again, I knew what to expect when I
Hmm.
got there, so it wasn't like it was a big shock. Um, Now the thing about the village, though, go back to where I met the prince. Now this is where things get crazy. We on the boat getting ready to come to go back on the other side of land so we can get in the car and go to the hotel for the night because it was late. It was nighttime at this point.
Hmm.
Man, these dudes get to arguing and about to fight. Like it's about to go down. I'm talking about our tour guide
Hmm.
and somebody else. Like they was loud, they was beefing, they was going at it, right?
Hmm.
And so finally, when they get in the boat and we leave, they was apologizing, you know, and they explained what happened. Supposedly, where we parked our boat is where the E5 practitioners do an ebo and a ritual to the spirit of the water.
Mm.
But because the boat was there and they placed to do the ritual, and then they getting the beefing over it. Now I'm like, what part of spirituality is that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the
Or
end of
maybe
the
you could
day,
be, maybe, at the time, y'all was off somewhere and they couldn't find the guy to move the boat and something like that. You know what I'm saying?
you
So,
could have did your ritual somewhere else.
I mean, that's true if you had all the water, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, you know what
that
I'm
do make
saying?
sense.
I mean, again, why we being dogmatic? You know what I'm saying? What's the purpose? Like
Right.
what are you trying to accomplish? You got to do something at the water. You got space to do it at the water.
Yeah.
Why is it this big old area of water? Why is it just this little spot?
Hmm.
And like y'all about to fight over it? What
That's
part of
crazy.
Iwa Pele is that?
Right, right. That's crazy.
Right? And so
So
I'm
listen,
like,
so I know, so you returning back home,
uh-huh,
kind of fast forwarding it, right? You
uh-huh.
back at the house, right? So my question to you is after returning home, what changes did you notice and how you relate to your spiritual work and your community and yourself?
What I notice is that we have to define what spirituality is.
Hmm.
Like we really have to take a hard look at ourselves and say, what is spirituality?
Yeah.
You know, because I think we're missing the boat. I think we
But do you really
think
believe that? Do you really believe that it's one way? Do you really believe that there is a set format for that?
no, I think there are rules, so to speak,
Hmm.
you know, but they're not so strict, you
Hmm.
know. And when I say strict, because, and I hate using that word because what I realize is that a lot of
You know what?
people
I wouldn't
in,
even use rules. I would use a process. I
well,
would use process. You know what
rules,
I'm saying?
laws, universal law,
Okay.
however you want
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
determine or define it. But we have this thing where discipline has now become dogma for whatever
Mm,
reason. And I think it's because we don't have discipline. So let's downplay it or let's talk about discipline in a negative way so we can feel free to just do whatever we want, how we want to do it. But there
Yeah, we just
are,
talked about that, me and my partner, because we talked about that as far as like working out,
hmm
being consistent. It takes a certain amount of discipline.
right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you
Yeah.
don't want to do it, you know what I'm saying? Is that
Yeah.
but that discipline alone would drive you into doing what's good for yourself.
Right. So you would have somebody, let's say you work out 5 days a week, you got your routine.
Hmm.
You would have somebody be like, hey, yo, let's go, let's go over here and do this. And you like, man, nah, I can't, man. Uh, I hit the gym at that time.
Hmm.
Oh man, you could miss one day at the gym.
That's somebody who's
No,
undisciplined that's telling
exactly.
you, trying to
Exactly.
get you off your rocker. They're
Yeah. And
taking you
then
off your rocker.
you say, no, no, I can't, man. I hit the gym 5 days a week. I gotta hit it. Oh
Hmm.
man, you being dogmatic. Like what? Like, so that's what we are. Like I've heard E5 practitioners, I've heard priests, I've heard elders
Hmm.
refer to discipline in the tradition as being dogmatic.
Hmm.
When I was always told dogmatic comes from a place of doing things from a standpoint without any information. You don't have no information, you just doing it out of tradition. Oh, my mama did it, my grandmama did it, my great
Exactly.
grandmama did, so I'm gonna do it. Oh, well, why do you do X, Y, Z? Oh, look, man, this is what I do. You ain't got no information, you don't got no understanding, none of that. You just blindly doing something.
Yeah. I
And
told you I was gonna
so,
go here and drill you with these questions, right?
yeah, no, I'm good. I'm
So we get
good.
so everybody can get a good understanding when they do travel to wherever they travel, what should be some of the expectations or things that they should be looking for when they travel. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just like you
Yeah,
said, just traveling to come back and say I traveled somewhere. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like
right.
what was the true experience that you had? Did you have some type of spiritual epiphany? You know what I'm saying? What really went on? So one of my questions is to you is for those who feel they are called to travel to the ancestral lands, what inner preparation do you believe is essential before taking that step?
Know that you know nothing.
Mm,
Go in it open minded, you
mm,
know, open book. I would do, I always do some kind of study, wherever I'm going. Let me try to understand what's going on and then
mm,
have conversations with the spirit realm, with your ancestors, your spirit guides. Man, I would tell my spirit guides what I want to see.
mm.
I'm in South Africa. Hey, I need to see it. I need to meet a Sangoma and talk to him. 2 hours later,
You
I'm
meet,
talking to a Sangoma.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I meet two more. No, I go back and I meet two more on another trip. So you got to ask for what it is
Mm-hmm.
that you want, but don't go in there like you know everything. Really go there open to the experience. And another thing, when you travel, you got to be open to do some things that you normally don't want to do.
Yeah,
Like
it might
for
be some
me,
uncomfortable moments,
yeah, like for me
and it
on
might
this
those
trip,
in the uncomfortable moments would be where the beautiful things happen.
absolute.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had I stayed in some amazing places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like 3 hotels in particular, beautiful, right? There was another hotel when I was booking it. I said, "Oh, I'm not staying here." I said, "Hey, what? Give me." I asked the tour guide, "Give me some other options." He
Mm-hmm.
said, "That's the best place in the city because we in the interior of Benin, like
No, you in the yeah, you in the
we in the
mix.
middle of nowhere for this
Yeah.
part." So I go to the itinerary and I pull up what it is that they say that we're going to do. Because I'm thinking to myself, man, we're going to just cut that out. We ain't going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, man, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it. To hell with it. It is what it is.
So do you consider this trip in Benin more of an initiation?
For me, yes.
Okay. So my next
Um,
question is, what's the common misconception about spiritual travel or initiation that your experience in Benin help clarify or dissolve?
People think all initiations aren't formal.
They're not.
You growing up in the projects was an
Mhm.
initiation.
True
You
indeed.
growing up with a single parent was initiating. You
Hmm.
growing up with an abusive father was an initiation.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You growing up not knowing how you was gonna eat from day to day was an initiation. You know
True
what I'm
indeed.
saying? You,
Hmm.
you growing up in neighborhoods like in California where you got to walk through um rival gangs, but that's an initiation. You,
Hmm.
you growing up. Let me take something maybe some other people can relate to. You growing up, the oldest sibling.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying, and having to be basically have the mother or be the father to your siblings.
Yeah, yeah. You're not. You don't have time to
Yeah,
be you're not allowed to be a child. You know what I'm saying? You've been
yeah,
placed in an adult situation.
yeah.
You
You
know what I'm saying?
having to parent your parents
Yeah.
is an
And
initiation.
I could see an individual being very, very resentful for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And because all initiations are not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
especially if you
yeah.
have a poor understanding of what it even is that you're going through in your life cycles. You know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying? So yeah,
absolutely.
I get it. You know what I'm saying?
I
So if you had to
learned
summarize the core teachings or message of this journey into one truth, what would it be?
one truth.
One truth.
Um, Spirituality is inner transformation.
Ashe.
Uh, there's two ways to learn. You can learn by reading. You can learn by doing. Learning by doing far exceeds just simply learning from reading.
True indeed.
And so
I
that's one
always
thing I
say that too.
learned.
I say experience is always going to outweigh somebody, basically even teaching you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you memorizing something in a sense? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I always say that. Hmm.
as you get older, you have a lot of times we have the ability to get out of experiences. Like
Hmm.
we can basically go to work, go home every day,
Hmm.
and you cheat yourself
It could be
out of
such a mundane
experiences.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Hmm.
you gotta go out, you gotta be in the world. Like I
Hmm.
use my idea of a spiritual person used to be a monk. If I had to close my eyes and think of a spiritual person, it'd be like a Buddhist monk or like
Hmm.
a yogi. That would be my thing. And then I realized there's no stimulus. You
I can't
wake
say that
up,
because they
you
walking
eat.
the whole country right now.
No, but them that's different. That's not the average monk.
That's true.
You in the monastery, you wake up, you pray, you meditate, you eat, you go to sleep.
You pray some more,
Yeah,
meditate some more. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. You go to sleep, wake up, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
actually got invited to a monastery one time in California, and I didn't take the trip though, but they because it was something was conflicting, but whatever. The young lady wanted me to go, and when she started telling me what they were going to be doing, no phone, meditation 24 hours a day, one, and then the only time you stop meditating is when you have your meals.
crazy,
You
crazy.
say crazy.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
phone though. No phone for three
yeah.
weeks. 2 weeks. It was like 2, 3 weeks or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like for a short period of time like that, that probably would be really good for somebody.
I mean, it probably would be good for some of
Yeah.
us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Especially if you busy, if you
Hmm.
always moving, busy, doing this, that, and the other. I tell you this story about something that happened, and this is how I know. Like, I mean, I know because I divined on it, and
Mm-hmm.
I know because it came from different spaces. But this was like the cherry on top. I go, we go to the village that's completely in the water
Mm-hmm.
called Ganvi in Benin. Like you have these houses on stilts in the water, and that has
Right.
been around since slavery time because they were trying to get away from the slave traders, and they knew that in
Mm.
this space here, like
They're not
nobody
coming.
would think anybody was back there.
Yeah, they're not coming. They're not
And they
coming
were
back.
and they were right, they were completely protected.
Mm-hmm.
So we go there, we're on the boat, and then the boat takes us, there's like a shop, right? So we pull up, we dock, we get out, we go into this shop. Again, like I said, this is the ancestor told me to go here. So I'm looking around the shop, like, okay, I got some cool stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
I go and I see this statue, like this Egungun statue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I look at it, I'm like, man, these is nice. So I pick one up and I look at it, and I'm like, how much is this? They told me, I was like, and it wasn't a lot, but I was like, nah, I don't know, I ain't paying this.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing too, it was early on. It was like I was 2, 3 days in, and I knew we were going to like a couple of big fetish markets, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, this is cool. I sit it down, right? And I mean, it has a nice size base, right? So I sit it down, perfectly set on the thing, and I'm talking to my niece, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I'm talking to the tour guide, and I'm like, yeah, yada yada yada. No, yeah, I am talking. I'm talking. Well, I am talking to my niece and the tour guide, and I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah. When I tell you that thing jumped in my hands, I said, oh, y'all want me to get this?
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, my niece had walked around and was looking at it too, and she was like, I like the one with the calories on it. So I ended up buying it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, y'all want this for real? Okay. I was like, oh, this wild. So that was one of my wild moments. But I told y'all that about my niece kept saying that we were going to experience everything the ancestors experienced. And
Mm-hmm.
I kept on saying, no, not me. The last day we go to we're in Togo.
Mm-hmm.
We go to this house where slavery has ended, but they were still having doing like slavery underground.
Mm-hmm.
And they were showing us how they would bring slaves to this house, and they would put the slaves up under the ground and all that. So we go into the house, and they have some floorboards open up, and you can kind of go down in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I get down there, and I look at my niece. I'm like, she's like, what's it looking like down there? I'm like, you got to come down here. So she gets down there, and she's complaining the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't believe they had people down here. This is
Mm-hmm.
some BS. And, she's, you know, maybe 5'6" or so. And she's like down, squatting down low. Oh no, this is horrible. This is terrible. I can't believe they had people down there. She just going off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too low for me to be trying to move around. So I let her move around. She shoots the videos. She goes around the corner and takes the video over there the whole night. And she's just going off the whole time. So we get out. So we get out and we go to the car. And so we're sitting in the car, we're sitting in the back, and I look at her and she has her sunglasses on and just tears coming down her face.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, man, I can't believe like they had our people like this and slavery was over with. They still doing it. She just going off and then she just starts, I mean, boo hoo crying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, she like, man, I don't feel good. I feel terrible. I said, like how? She like, I feel like I'm pregnant. Like in that second, right? Now, my niece is like I said, she's initiated into several different things, and she's a medium.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, man, she gets to going in about one of our ancestors was pregnant while she was on the boat going to America. And she's just going on and on about how she felt. When I say she, I'm talking about our ancestor.
Yeah, yeah, I got what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang. So at one point she opened her hand, she was like, hold my hand. Like I need somebody to share this with. And I'm
Right.
like, nah, I don't want no part of that. I see how you over there messed up. I'm good. So she keep on,
Mm-hmm.
no, I need your home. So I hold her hand. I'm holding her hand. I feel these like electrical pulses going through my hand from her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off dull and it slowly but surely continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where it's like she just zaps me and I yank my hand from her. I'm like, yo, like you just burnt me. And she was like, I feel so bad, stop playing. I said, no, 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 I'm not playing. I'm dead serious. Like, yo, that like it was crazy how I felt. And so I went and I held her hand again. And then this time she was like, me holding her hand helped her feel better. But for the rest of the day, she was complaining, like, I feel like I'm pregnant and this, that, and the other. And this is what the ancestor was going through, like the whole time. To the
Mm-hmm.
point that when we go back to the hotel, she she showers and goes to sleep. Um,
I feel like when you encounter something like that, because I mean, just the concept that I have, you know, this is not. You don't have to take this as the truth, but this is something that I feel in my spirit. I
mhm,
really feel like when you because I feel like the past, present, and future all run parallel, right? And I feel like if you had an ancestor or the same energetic energy or whatever, when you go to a similar place that those ancestors in the past that runs parallel with the present moment, it's like you collide with them in a sense.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what that electrical friction is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Because the past, present, and future all exist, but yet it doesn't exist, but it does exist. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a whole nother chap. That's a whole nother show. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. I know.
But you
I'm
understand what I'm saying, though. You
yeah,
know
I
what I'm
understand
saying?
what you're
So
saying, man. It,
yeah.
it, it
So I
was
can I can. I've been in situations where I felt a strong presence of my ancestors around me. You know what I'm saying? Like I could feel
right.
them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but okay, I have one more question, brother,
Okay.
and then I think it's going to be my last question. But how do you see this experience continuing to unfold in your life and work in the work that you got to do moving forward?
Understanding that my ancestors come first.
Hmm.
Well, I'll say first after my Ori. Understanding that, I stood up in a room and said, I'll go, I'll go.
Hmm.
And my ancestors was like, we got you.
Yeah, they paved the way.
They
They
paved
made
the
a way.
way
Yes, sir.
and they protect me, they guide me, they support me, they do things on my behalf. There are things that I've never experienced that were there for me to experience that my
Hmm.
ancestors moved out the way and I don't even know it. And
Hmm.
so I it really brought home the fact that I mean, my life journey is my life journey. Not only is it for me in the evolution of my own spirit,
Hmm.
but it's also a joint mission for me to really move my ancestral lineage forward.
Mm,
And, you know, because of what my ancestors endured, because of what they protected me and shielded me from, I'm able to live a life that they didn't, they couldn't. You know, I wrote in a post that my ancestors left their homeland laying down or lying down in the bottom of boats, only for however many generations later for me to be able to get on a plane and lie down as I go back.
mhm.
You know, and I don't take the ability to do that for granted.
Not
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? And I'm very appreciative of my ancestors. Um, they have been a part of my journey every step of the way, and they continue to be a step of my journey, or a part of my journey. And so, and I'm grateful. That's all I can say. I'm grateful. Like
Mm,
my gratitude went to a whole new level. And that's another thing my niece kept on saying. My niece kept on saying, we gotta go back in business class. We gotta go back in style because of how our ancestors left. We got to go back in style.
yeah, that makes sense. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah, I commend her for that. We
yeah,
go back.
yeah,
Yeah, we didn't go back and we're not going back in the bottom of a boat. We're going back in first class. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
we getting it.
yeah.
Yeah, ain't nothing
And it
wrong with that.
completely messed up my traveling from here on out because I'm like, any long trip like that, I gotta lay down.
Yeah, you gotta lay down.
From
Ain't nothing
here
wrong with
on
that.
out, I gotta lay down.
Yeah. So, well, brother, that was my last question I have for you. For the people that are watching, I do invite story based responses. Tell us some of some of your stories when you were going. You went to Africa, you went to South America, or Brazil, or any other wherever your lineage or ancestors are from. We would love to hear your story as well, and these stories will help other people. What I'm saying, gain the courage and also gain a little insight on letting people know it's okay to travel and to seek and find uh, where you came from. You know what I'm saying? So that's my take on everything, brother.
I say,
I
and
want to
my
give
brother.
acknowledgement to the elders, to the Orisha, and to especially Baba Femia. We really do appreciate you, brother, for holding us down,
Absolutely,
for holding us young brothers down, and I
absolutely.
appreciate you allowing me to be on the show.
No, I appreciate you. Like you said, Echo Doom to our Luo Chief, Obafemi Fayemi Pega, Baba Shango Dari, Baba Todd. All three are um, friends of the show. All three who have been impactful in our spiritual walk. We greatly appreciate it. And my brother, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for stepping in and stepping up. Greatly appreciate it. And thank y'all family for chilling with us again, man. Like you said, give us those responses. Tell us your story. You know, let us know. You know, where you going to next? Where do you want to go?
Yeah,
These this
true
was country 19 and 20 for me. And so man, this trip ranked in my top three. So travel, man, travel, 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 travel. It has truly changed my life, changed my perspective, changed the way I think of things. I always say every time I travel, every trip is spiritual. This was
indeed.
no different. You know, it just, I continue to grow, expand, evolve, and change. So appreciate y'all family. Till next time. Peace.
Dabo.
Oh, Dabo.